staring directly into the sun. Good morning. I've been, I think I've mentioned this before. I seem to get slick. I get sick in slow motion. So it's kind of nice. Instead of having strong symptoms for like 5 days, I'll have light symptoms for like 5 weeks. Maybe not cool, maybe terrible. I don't know, it kind of depends. Either way, I just feel like a little off, and I don't wake up at 5 in the morning hurt and ready to start the day. So these are my indicators. I have been, let's see, haven't done anything with the keyboard firmware, not in a while. I'm actually looking, I shouldn't say that, I made some progress on it, and basically in order for me to test it and mess around with it, I need to connect up a whole bunch of jumper wires, and I run into weird issues where I'm not sure if it's the jumper wires that are the problem, because like I have the keyboard and then I have the jumper wires sticking straight up like 6 inches into the air, and then the control unit is like hovering in midair, and it leans and it pulls up some of the pins on the opposite side that it's leaning, and I don't know. I need to build that adapter board. So I got the adapter board kind of designed. I have to make some new footprints for it, but once I do that, things should go pretty smoothly. And then I'll be able to take my my normal Signum board, pull off the teensy, and then put on this this ESP32 board, or the Atypical 328, or whatever, whichever I choose. So that'll be pretty neat once that happens. And that'll be basically implicit Bluetooth, because the Bluetooth is basically done. Well, I shouldn't say basically done. It's the proof of concept is done. More pointedly, there's weird issues. The built-in Arduino, or the published Arduino keyboard library, uses ASCII representations or ASCII numerical values rather than USB HID spec values, and it uses those as like translators within the code, and then it changes it back to USB HID for some reason. So I need to figure out how to unbork that, because I don't understand. I literally can't even the character A, alpha, is represented by a number. Is it 32 or something like that in ASCII? Now, is that 32 in scan code? Is that 32 on the USB HID spec page 4 keyboards? Why wouldn't you use that spec? I don't know, whatever. I should just be happy most of the code's done, so yay. So I'm thinking about this, and I'm kind of annoyed that in the meantime I don't have, like, I keep dropping stuff off my plate. I keep forgetting stuff, and I have been trying to think of a low-tech solution, and I came up with this last night. So the idea is that you have a card. It's about that big, and then you have a 3D print. I got a 3D printer, by the way. I'll talk about that after this. The idea is you have a card, and then the card fits inside a slot of a plastic kind of carrier thing, and the plastic carrier thing has windows, openings for you to write on the paper, and then it has selection points. So little, not mechanical obviously, but little switches that you flip back and forth that say yes and no. Or if you're counting a number of items, you can do like a binary counter or something, maybe even like a roller counter, or you just have a selection of numbers and then a pointer, and you slide that pointer up and down to indicate a number. So the idea is basically that you get to store the state of my brain is literally a computer. So these are like registers, right? And this is like your RAM, right? And this is how your brain works. I mean, it is intentionally. It was designed. The way a computer thinks, processes logic, processes information, is designed after how humans think. So that's a more logical way of. It's more backwards than that. But I don't have any coffee. It's probably good because I'm sick. Right. Shoot, that's bothersome. Anyways, the most important thing, the trick to it that I figured out last night, because I had some ideas of something like this, just kind of a low-tech, recurring task tracker, was to have the date on it. Because my problem is, I'll be like doing a thing, and I'll do the thing for like 10 weeks, and I'll be like, there's a I'm sorry, there's a GMC Arcadia that has a rear windshield wiper that is removed, so there's like this little nub sticking there, and as I'm looking at it, it goes weet, weet, weet. And it's like this big, so it's just rotating around, and I imagine the lady in there being all like, all right, let me kick off that clean the back windscreen. Oh, there we go, and nothing. Okay, it's nothing every time, but maybe this time it magically appeared and wiped the window. That was just that got me. I might be a little tired too. Bloody hell. So you're gonna have to help me out. What was I talking about? Yeah, that was a full the thought train derailed there, so I can't step that logic sequence back to figure out where I was, because it was just a windshield wiper, a non-windshield wiper. Well, oh right, my problem is that I would do the thing for like 3 weeks in a row, and then after that, after 3 weeks, or after an extended period of just doing it normally, so it keeps going, it's on an interval, so that's just turned on, and the person doesn't know it, but it is kind of funny still. I can put a little tail on there and have it wag. Focus. Come on, Troy. This is exactly what I'm talking about. After an extended period of doing the act very often, I will just forget about it absolutely for like several days, and someone will be like, hey, what's the deal with this thing? And I'm like, what thing? Why you do that? Well, it wasn't done the last 3 days. Like, how could it not be done the last 3 days? I've been doing it for, like, oh, I just didn't do it. And it just, poof, it vanishes. One of those, that is, again, a neurally atypical thing. It does speak to, now that after reading that book, The Power of Habit, it does speak to a very, almost a brain abnormality, because once something becomes a habit like that, it should just be automatic. You shouldn't even think about doing it, and you're just doing it. And it definitely shouldn't just disappear. That is rather strange. But the idea is that you would have this card, and by setting the date on it, so at the beginning of the day, you would reset it. And I was looking at doing these activities all electronically on a little task tracker, but this might be a bit more artful. Low energy solution. The idea is that you would set the date and then reset all the switches. Set everything to no, and then as you do the things, you pick up the card and you flip the switch over. It did the thing, yes. And did I do this thing? Yes. Feed the cat, whatever, that kind of thing. And then the next day, you look at it and you say, oh, well, I failed at doing these 2 things, or at the end of the day you look at it and go, oh, I forgot to do these 2 things. But the trick was that if I forgot it, if I just flipped one switch and was like, okay, that's what I've got today, and then I forgot about it for a week, and then I suddenly remembered it again and picked it up, and I was like, oh yes, I've already done this thing. By having the date on there, I can see not only how many days I failed, but also that the day has rolled over and that I need to reset all the switches. Which makes perfect sense. I mean, this is what I was thinking of, tasks I was thinking of doing with the electronics. But, like, it's just logic, man. It should be able to be represented physically. And can be. The difficulty is creating a process or processes which account for human failure. Because that was the problem. It was like, oh, well, I'll just forget. And then I forget, and then it's in a weird state, and I'm not sure what I've done or not done. And that's not acceptable. So the other thing is, like, I would have to figure out a way to have them recessed so that they wouldn't slide around on accident. This would probably be in my pocket or something. I might put a little battery in it so that I could have a blinky light so that it just attracts my attention every once in a while. And then make it blink every, like, 30 minutes or every 30 minutes is a pretty good idea. You can do that pretty easily with a 555 timer. Or no, there's a capacitive. Interesting. So now we're kind of getting an idea of what the thickness would be. Thick. Oh, so 3D printers. Those are cool, right? I turned one of the customs. Someone requested a custom, which they purchased with Bitcoin, and it's been a long time since a Bitcoin sale. And I was like, oh yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, let me see if I can get on that. And everything's still a little iffy on the whole Bitcoin thing. People are like, this is like evil money. And the place I come down on it is that Bitcoin is a perfect transfer of money, a perfect transfer of value. So my object is to transfer that value into usable, durable goods as quickly as possible. I don't hodl. I do hodl a little bit, actually, I should say. Not too much. And I do believe in the moon, but not the physical one. But so I kind of had to catch up on my Bitcoin, who actually does stuff anymore, like who can actually sell things. And Newegg had some stuff, but not the stuff that I wanted, and they have limitations. So I was like, all right, well, let's try out this Purse.io thing. So tried it out, went successful, and got a 3D printer. And I've been printing for a while now. Just watched a bunch of setup instructions and followed those as closely as I could. What the hell? The guys are wearing leggings? Is this a thing? There are track people? No, what is it? Long distance people. Long distance runners. The long distance runners are always weird. I was a sprinter. Long distance people are always weird. They're weird to me, at least. But it's getting colder, so it's summer, and then they wear less clothes, and then it's winter, and then they wear less clothes. They wear leggings, and like, I don't. You're basically wearing like paint, body paint. It's that bad. It's like, hey, everyone, look at my stuff. And I know that is what it is, but the dudes were wearing leggings, and that is gay. It's super gay. That's weird, man. So the 3D printing is pretty neat. Right. Yeah, and going well. orange, obviously, because I'm me. I set up this, and I played around with it a little bit. This makes a tremendous difference. This was kind of an easy print, and I was like, you know, maybe it means nothing, but this works so well, I'm probably going to print out the fancy one, the full faceplate replacement. So that'll be neat. Looking at building or 3D printing a base for the keyboard that would just kind of snap around the edges of the PCB, and then offer a little bit of space beneath the keyboard for things like a battery, a Bluetooth module, stuff like that. But still keep things kind of light. The alternative is creating a bundle that has the battery, the USB adapter, and the alternative controller in a one unit that fits into that area that's right between the keys on the Signum. So then you can pull out your module, your current module, and then just take that and put it in. And then it'll have, it'll be secure in that place, and you'll have a plug, and everything's mounted appropriately, so you're not like bending pins every time you move it around. So having something that's very fitted to the keyboard will allow me to build up from it and not worry about it, destroying your electronics because it got caught on something and it bent or whatever. So that'll be interesting. That's been exciting. Yeah, it has been pretty exciting. That is legit exciting. It is legit exciting to push print and come back in 5 hours. It takes so bloody long, but that's just fine. I'm more of a laser cutter guy, but you can't laser cut what you can 3D print. It's still, it runs and it works. So, I'll wait until the honeymoon is over and until I run into weird problems. And then I'm like, oh, why does this thing not work? Why are my prints blah? But from what I can read, what I found, most people seem to be like, most people are not me, or rather, I'm not most people. That's a very narcissistic way of putting it. I just mean that, like, people are like, oh man, well, you can see on the second level here that when you put it under the microscope, you can really tell. And like, does it work? Yeah. Okay. What's the problem? Like, good enough. Chill, dude. Just relax. Like, no, it has to look like it's not 3D printed. Like, no, that's a feature, dude. Says the guy with the keyboard designed to look like it's a work in progress. Designed to look like it's incomplete. That's just me, I guess. But it means I don't have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff that other people do. I hope my customers like this, I guess. I don't know. I can just be that curmudgeon. Like, I like this design. Oh, well, I think a lot more people would like it if you did it a different way. Like, no. I mean, there's options. Like, I still want, the goal is for more people to use the keyboard. And I don't want to make functional allowances, reduce function or reduce betterment of ergonomics. I'm not going to make it worse in order to appeal it to more people. Keyboards are actively, they injure people. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, use this. This will injure you less. Like, I'm going to give you the best thing that I can make that will keep you keyboarding for a long time and keep your wrists straight and reduce your overall strain. Like, and speed you up. Like, these are the goals. These are great things to have. And if someone's like, it doesn't look quite like the other keyboards. Like, yeah, because it's better. I'm not going to make it worse. But cosmetics and aesthetics, like, those are ancillary. Those I do enjoy those, but if I could build something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing or cosmetically pleasing to people, then without sacrificing the function, then why should I not? I did see on Thingiverse there's it's called a SICK 68, SICK 68, and it appears to be a two-piece build that assembles into a frame, plate and frame on the bottom for hand wiring, a 68%, 60% basically. So I'm going to see how those. I'm very interested in how the how the switch holes print up, because that took a long time on the laser cutter to get dialed in. And if the 3D printer can reproduce fitting switch holes that the switches lock into and snap out of, that's kind of a big deal. I've been out of that for a while, so getting back into it and finding the advancements that have been made is pretty neat. So I'll print one of those up, at least the plate. I think I got the right-hand side plate. Takes 7 hours or something. But that'll be worth it if everything works really well. So, cool. Lots of stuff going on. Also, it's after the 10th, and I'm still around. I wonder how commercially viable I am. YouTube's purge either is going really slow or I'm not part of it. So if I wind up monetizing this channel due to that requirement, I apologize, I guess. I've said before, YouTube doesn't have a business model. They just like give away money. And they come up short like every year. So this is a tremendous service. And as much as I hate ads, hate ads, the amount of benefit that YouTube provides outweighs having to watch some ads, or, you know, mute and scroll down and not visually intake. The trick is not to listen to the ad, don't listen to the ad, and don't see the images of the ad. All of it's meant to get deep in your brain. Yeah, so I am glad to still be here. And lots of stuff going on, I guess. I don't know how to end this. Bye. I love you.